What's up? What's up? What is up? It's another Friday, another opportunity to get together and record the thing that is known as the Ball Hog Sports Talk. If you've never been a part of the experience, welcome to the show. It's where sports, business, and entertainment collide. We do it one way and one way only. It's rough, rugged, and raw. Today's episode is going by the title of My Dog's Birthday, and you know how we do our titles. You know we take it personal. You know we got a lot of stuff to cover today. The WNBA, fantastic. You got the NBA, also fantastic, leading into the finals, but so much more. So boys and girls, dogs and frogs, cats and rats, I need you to do me a favor. Pull up a chair. Fill you a glass of something spectacular and get ready for the Ball Hog Sports Talk, where sports, business, and entertainment collide. Make sure that you tell a friend, tell a forward, tell anybody you know, like, comment, share, do all of them things. Bring the people into the building because the Ball Hog Sports Talk is coming to you. So, with no further ado, let's go. Wake up, wake up, wake up, and stay woke. Because this is the Ball Hog Sports Talk with your boy, B. Brown, ESQ, a.k.a. the Ball Hog, a.k.a. the Mouth of the South. This is the place where sports, business, and entertainment collide. And we're going to give it to you rough, rugged, and raw. So come get you a spoonful, like some grits with butter and salt. You know how we do it in the South, y'all. Make sure you do not get caught in your feelings. Strap on your seatbelt and enjoy the ride. Come on, let's go. Once again, it's on. I stand before you in front of this microphone, or sit in front of you in front of this microphone with the man, the myth, the legend, thou who shall be intergalactically known and respected as. Make sure that you arch your back, put your chest out, say it from deep down. He is from the Windy City, the Big Flow Show. What's up, my brother?
What's good? What's good, America? Don't let it go too that deep down when you see it. I don't want it to come out with a fart. You know what I mean? When you say my name, say it with your chest. Don't let it go too deep. It ain't that serious.
Pretty fair. Pretty fair.
Let it go
pretty
too
fair.
deep.
Today's
What's
episode
good,
is going
man?
by my dog's birthday, man. I'm gonna start off by saying happy birthday to my dog. If you see him, my man Kareem D, middle initial, White last name. Been friends since 1991, man. That's when I met him. So 33 years of friendship. Happy birthday,
You was
June
born.
7th.
You was born in 91.
Say again.
Weren't you born in 91?
Our friendship was born in 91.
I thought you were born in 91.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
I still see that little breast milk you got sitting on your
Yeah.
chin.
Little something.
You got a little formula.
It's about to connect. But it's my dog's birthday. And if you have a friend that you have been able to maintain a friendship with for years, in this case, decades, make sure that you celebrate that, because we're at that age now, man. Guys aren't staying around. There's been a lot of
When you
people.
get to my age and you know somebody since 91, we call them new friends.
New friends.
That's new friends.
That's a new friend.
I got people from the 70s.
The 70s, man. That's good stuff.
Back before rap music.
That's a good reflection of how you treat friendship. But my best friend on the planet is my man, Kareem. Happy birthday to him. If y'all see him, tag him if you want. I should probably tag him in the comments. Let him know that partially, I mean, I'm going to go ahead and tag him. Partially, the show
you
is
said
titled,
tag a friend, tag a foe. Is that a foe?
That's a friend, never a foe.
Okay.
I can't figure out how to tag him. But partially, it is dedicated to him. But in addition to it being my dog's birthday, there's a conversation that came up amongst friends, amongst coworkers. And we were talking about how dogs are treated in Western civilization, in America specifically. And the question was, do you celebrate on an annual basis? Do you celebrate your dog's birthday? And it came up because of all of the, what they call them, pandemic puppies. If you didn't know, there was an amazing uptick in pet ownership in America during the pandemic. Specifically, there was this, what they call pandemic puppy rush, a proliferation of pet owners own puppies because of the pandemic. And so this is how it came up. Some of those puppies have since been left on the corner or given away. People realized they didn't have the patience for them, but I digress. I know you don't have a dog now, but you've had a dog.
I have a dog.
You have a dog now. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Do you celebrate your dog's birthday?
No. Every once in a while we make a joke and we'll be like, remember, I think this dog we have, one of our dogs' birthday is somewhere around my birthday. So my wife would be like, you being mean to him, it's his birthday or whatever. But the dog don't care. He don't know if it's his birthday or not. So why waste the time?
So a dog is a dog is a dog is a dog to you.
I love the dog. I mean, we did give the dogs Christmas gifts. They open presents. We give them we wrap up toys and they tear them apart and they get into that, all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
But you got limits. Some pet owners in America do not have limits. The dog is a human. It's a person. It is a true family member. And I know the pain of losing a dog, but I think that I try to, in our family, maintain a balance. Mm-hmm. And so the reason I'm saying this is because if you look at how pets were treated in America specifically, and then we look at some of the tragic stories in sports this week, one would argue in ways we treat pets, especially dogs, better than humans.
Oh, for sure. They'll kill you. They'll kill you. I didn't want to go there because you said to go there. I didn't want to go there. But, we argue about service animals, whether or not it's a pet. And they say it's not a pet, it's a medical device. So I've been online fussing with people about it. And my thing is, okay, if it's a medical device only and not a pet, do you give it treats? Do you rub its belly when it rolls over? do you give it its favorite stuff? Do you buy it toys at Christmas, or do you just put it in the shelf with the rest of your medical devices? I have medical devices that I have to use. I don't treat them nice. You know what I'm saying? They get clean when they bother me, but besides that,
fair.
I think
so you've been arguing this point about service animals. All right, but they treat them well.
I've been arguing that it's still an animal. The big argument, we're not going to get sidetracked, is that if you own an Airbnb, which if anybody would like to stay somewhere, I have a week open at Florida Beach.
Shameless plug. I like
Shameless plug in June. We still have 1 week left in June. That's a very rarity. So if you're looking for Florida Beach, send me a private message. I'll send you a link. Maybe if you mention the show, maybe I'll give you a discount. Maybe I won't. Well, if you can't find out till you find out. But people, if you have a service animal, if someone has a dog in your place and you don't allow dogs, all the person has to say is it's a service animal. And once you claim it's a service animal, they can't say nothing. You don't have to prove it.
So the rule of no pets allowed does not apply to someone who is utilizing a service animal.
Yeah.
Because they need it for.
And so I'll put you guys on game because as long as it's out there. If you ever have your dog anywhere and you're not supposed to have your dog, just say service animal because it's illegal for them to ask you for proof.
Are there requirements to designate it as a service animal?
Once you say it's a service animal, it's a service animal.
All right. Even if it doesn't have on a service animal.
Nothing. No training, no site. And if anyone asks you any of those questions, sue them and make money. They're not allowed to ask you. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. So the people that have been arguing with me are saying that I want to discriminate against the disabled. And I'm saying, no, I want to protect the disabled. I don't think it's fair that people walking around here, when people had CNI dogs, they call them lead dogs when I was growing up. And you saw them once a year, you might see somebody with a lead dog. Now there's 10,000 lead dogs in America. Now, I've been arguing on the internet. 10,
I can tell if you had the number.
There's 10,000 guide dogs, not lead dog, guide dogs in America. There's 500,000 service animals. So where do these 490,000 ailments come from that were never around when we were kids? Suddenly all these people have dogs. So all you had to do, if you ever have your dog somewhere and you're in a pinch and someone says you can't have dogs in here, just say service animal. And if they say anything else to you, you can sue them and you're going to win.
Now, these two very random and different topics. Yeah. My best friend's birthday and the treatment of dogs. I guess I'll put a third, and whether or not someone is able to use a designation of a service animal have nothing to do with each other, but they actually do.
Absolutely nothing.
They actually do. And I'll tell you why. Today's episode, we're going to be dealing with topics that, again, is sports, business, entertainment, like it always is. But there's a really interesting dynamic. The month of May was Mental Health Awareness Month in this country. And while we are now in June, which is Pride Month in this country, I did want to, on the heels of Mental Health Awareness Month, talk about some of the mental health concerns in sports, business, and entertainment. I wanted to talk about how, in ways, we treat animals, specifically dogs in this case, better than our own people, athletes. The Deontay Wilder.
That's my dog.
That's my dog. The Deontay Wilder fight prompted a lot of this. And then Delonte West. So Deontay Wilder, Delonte West, it has been arrested again. But in both situations, we're going to talk about the treatment of humans. But they got to wait for us to at least talk about NBA. So I wanted to explain how we got this title. But NBA playoffs, hot, heavy, game one. And I was wrong about what I thought game one would be. I got to admit that. But I cannot deny that Boston looked good. So before we get into the deeper topics, let's just talk about the Celtics being dominant over the Mavs yesterday in game one in Boston. Of course, every time Kyrie touches the ball, he's going to be booed. Kyrie seems to be unbothered by it. At least he seemed to be.
I didn't notice it. He was getting booed.
I didn't notice it. He got booed a lot. And he is already factored into part of this, to being a part of this series. All right. Porzingis comes in, has a major role. Luka has 30, but it's an ugly 30. They lose by close to 20 points. Is this indicative that the Boston Celtics, who have enjoyed being by far the best team in the East all year, by far the most dominant team in this year's playoffs, granted, they played 3 teams that didn't have their best player, but you can only play who's in front of you. Was game one indicative of the Goliath that the Boston Celtics have become with not only their formidable starting lineup, but a deeper bench? And is this just inevitable that the Boston Celtics will be winning the world championship this year? What say you?
You know, it's interesting. A couple ways I look at this. First of all, I think Kyrie probably could not have played any worse than he played. I haven't seen his shot that off. He's missing open threes like left and right. If you leave him open like that again, he will not be missing open threes. Trust me, this is not something he's going to keep doing. Takes to the basket. Some of those takes to the basket will come back. They have a lot of like out of control drives as a team to the basket, and then there was no offensive rebounding. Now, that said, I forgot about Porzingis.
We all did. He's been on the shelf for a month.
A month. He came back there and gave you what he was last time.
He ended up with 20 last night.
Yeah, I saw. Last time I saw it was 18. I figured he scored again. I'm like, you get a dude that you haven't been seeing the whole playoff give you 20. That's mean. So I thought Jason Tatum looked real sharp when he decided to score. He still has a little bit of that, like he doesn't want to take over the game, you know. So I don't know. I want to stay with Dallas. I'll be honest with you, Porzingis throwing me off a little bit. I feel like I've been evaluating this team without him, and if he's gonna consistently give you a dub, oh man, that's hard to deal with.
Man. No, it is, and I thought that the front court, the young players that Dallas has enjoyed very surprising productivity out of throughout the playoffs would be too much for Al Horford. What I didn't realize is Porzingis was going to come back and play the way he's been playing, or he played last night. So we shall see. I still think
what's Dallas the young wins. Dude that got kicked in the head or hit in the neck a couple times with the real bad hair from Duke? Is he from Duke? The rookie, the guy that
from which team, man? You said
from Dallas. Dallas.
Oh, Lively. You're talking about Lively.
They could have called way more fouls against Lively on Porzingis. He was all on him, man. They were trying to be cool. He could have fouled out in 2 seconds.
You said with the bad hair, man.
He got real bad hair, doesn't he? I mean, you can't really.
String is different.
I can't hurt your feelings to talk about your hair, but that's real bad, man.
Yeah,
that's real bad.
That's the exotic look. They call that exotic. That's what that look is, man. So we said that we thought it would go the distance. We didn't think any team was going to be dominant in this series, but I thought Dallas was going to win it. If the odds were, I think they were what, plus 2,400 on Kyrie winning the MVP before the series. I think they got down to plus 2,000. They got to be close to plus 3,500 after last night.
Ooh, I should double down.
Yeah, double down. But I digress. We do not endorse or encourage anybody without the means, disposable income to gamble. We ain't pushing that. But this would be the time to make that bet. Because Kyrie plays so bad, because there's going to be a chip on his shoulder throughout the playoffs, and because I just can't sit with the idea and the notion of Boston winning the world championship because they are annoying, I'm sticking with my pick. Do you stick with your pick after seeing game one? And
yeah, because honestly, I feel like Dallas
watching live, like, comment, share, tag your friend, tag your tag anyone you know. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, but please chime in. Do you, after watching game one, do you still think that you had the right dog in this fight? Because the dog that I picked was Dallas. In this episode of my dog's birthday, the K9 takes center focus. And for me, the dog that I picked was Dallas. I got to admit that my dog, who I picked, looked a little weak in that fight last night.
Let me ask you this. What, and I hate to dwell on Porzingis. What was his injury that kept him out?
I don't remember what it is. Yeah.
I'm still going to go Dallas because I don't think you're going to – Kyrie he played horrible. And I think that Kyrie's going to come back and he's going to have a mean game. They're going to have a hard time with it, which comes with that is going to be some fouls. He's going to get fouled a lot. He's going to sink that three. So he's going to step up. Some of that experience, that playoff
Luka scores 30 and they lose by 20. Doesn't scare you at all? And I'm asking you while asking myself because I'm struggling today with whether or not I picked the right dog for this fight.
Luka's got 40 in him, 45, and then you got to get Kyrie to come back. But I think it's hard to look at it. Again,
PJ Washington had like 16 or 18 last night, played well. That's about what you were expecting out of PJ Washington.
He did. He played well down low. He was scrappy. The NBA, this is why it's such a beautiful game. 7-game series, you see someone blown out by 30, and the next game they could get blown out. They could blow someone out by 30. You never know. It's a streaky game. People get hot. They were not hot, and then at some point,
we picked the underdog. I don't know if it was the right dog. Are you doubling down on your dog?
I'm not doubling down, but I'm not gonna cash the bet out. I'm gonna keep it on there. I'm gonna leave it out there. I got some money out there. I'm gonna leave it out there. I still believe Dallas come back. It was one game. We just saw one game. We haven't seen. Everyone played well for the Celtics. Am I right?
Did. Shot the ball lights out, but they've been shooting the lights out. And as Jason Tatum said, we won game one the last time we were in the finals. So it's not a telltale sign that they are sure to win.
He's not even confident.
Say that.
I'm going to stay there. He's not even confident.
He's not even confident. All right. I'll take that. Initially, we were going to move forward into some other things and talk about mental health and some of those topics. But I feel as though the NBA, because we are in the finals, because all eyes have been, it seemed like forever between games. Waiting on last night's game one, it was anticlimactic when it finally happened because it was never really a game. But waiting on that game in between, Dallas wrapping up the Western Conference Final against Minnesota. And last night's game one in Boston, America got to see and experience and debate and argue about in barbershops and beauty salons, a game that we've talked about a lot here at the Ball Hog Sports Talk. Within that time, there was something that happened that has everybody talking about whether or not it's the 2024 version of Magic and Bird, Michigan State, Indiana State, the Magic Man versus Indiana's got a new state, Bird. As they both then went into the NBA and went to the Celtics, Lakers, it couldn't have been any better. And something happened in women's basketball, in the WNBA, that has the entire world talking about basketball. Now, before we get into it, because every dog has his day, And on this episode of my dog's birthday, this particular dog, the topic of the WNBA, the competition they're in, the new celebrities that are representing and being the face of the WNBA, a la Angel Reece, Caitlin Clark, getting compared to what has arguably been, from a race standpoint, the most significant us versus them. I don't say good versus evil. I don't think it was presented that way. It was this two Goliaths of basketball, one being black, one being white, that were dominant on the college level and then went on to play for the two storied franchises, the Celtics and the Lakers, and Magic and Bird. So for Angel Reece and Caitlin Clark, whether you want to make the comparison or not, to even be having the discussion, this dog officially has its day.
Mm-hmm.
What have you thought about the back and forth? I do want to get into the topic itself before we get into to Kennedy and some of the other Chennedy Carter and the situation with Caitlin Clark. A good way to tee it up would actually be what they did for First Take. Oh, let me get to that. Let's share that. We're gonna go here.
More than First Take.
Stephen A., respectfully, with your platform, you could have been doing this 3 years ago if you wanted to. I did not intend to make it personal. But when I look at Stephen A. and my relationship with Stephen A., he the head honcho at ESPN as far as I'm concerned. If SA says, let's talk about it, it's going to be discussed, right?
Right.
But what I do stand by is that the way that the WNBA is being covered, 3 years ago, we were not having these conversations about the WNBA as we are now. And that is just a fact.
But you said, Monica, it's never too late to do the right thing.
Absolutely. And I think people be like, oh, nobody was talking about, like you. I heard you at the end of that show. You lucky Molly had to go to break. Monica, you proving his point because nobody was talking about Caitlin Clark at 3 years ago. I heard your old Southern staff back there.
First of all, if anybody ever says that I have Southern sass, we're going to stop the conversation right there. I'm like, what you meant by that? But okay, I digress. Monica McNutt, former collegiate standout at Georgetown, does a phenomenal job from a journalistic standpoint, frequent guest on shows like First Take, essentially called out Stephen A. Let's start there. Do you think she had a point? Because while Stephen A. was trying to have discussions on the merits of whether or not, the referees are blowing it when it comes to whatever the merits of the conversation was, Molly McNutt made it very clear, and it has been discussed all week, that there are these novice fans. There are these new fans of the WNBA that have a very opinionated way of getting online, social media, getting on TV, and talking about the nuance of the WNBA with limited at best historical knowledge of the WNBA. The word jealous has been thrown out there when talking about veteran players and their treatment, acceptance or not, of Caitlin Clark. And as soon as the word jealous has been thrown out there, there have been WNBA veterans, there have been people who have covered it extensively, you got to give her credit. Monica McNutt has talked about women's sports. She played it, and it doesn't get any more credible. They have really taken issue with the use of the word jealous, and they've really taken issue with the newcomers. And that's not necessarily us, because we've talked about WNBA. We talk about it a lot on this show and have analyzed it a lot. But this group of people that have come to the party late and all of a sudden want to throw out words like jealous. Do you think Monica McNutt has a point when she called Stephen A. out and those of the newbies who are being reckless with descriptions such as calling the veterans jealous? What say you?
I say she's wrong. She's absolutely wrong. And I'm going to make a comparison to you that's going to make it a lot easier for you to see. I think you're looking at Caitlin Clark, and she's coming here, and she's making everybody excited about the WNBA. They've been covering the WNBA for years. People just haven't been paying attention. Hockey's on all the time. You just don't watch it. Baseball's on all the time. You don't watch it. And here's the comparison I'm going to give to you. How much did you watch golf before Tiger Woods?
Did I watch golf?
Yeah, before Tiger Woods came
out. Not at all.
Not at all. Fair. Okay. Tiger Woods gets into golf, and
there was one brother that I watched, but I wouldn't watch golf.
At the end of the day, I never watched golf. I used to call golf sleeping TV. I would get home on a Sunday when it was hot out, and I'd been around outside, messing around, and I wanted to get some good sleep. And I wanted it couldn't be too quiet. I put on some sleeping TV, throw on the Masters, throw on the British Open, and go to bed because I could care less. Every once in a while, wake up, see a nice putt, no big deal, fall back asleep. That was good sleep TV. But my thing was, until Tiger started playing golf, nobody cared, right? And this is kind of to my point about they should let Caitlin shoot. When Tiger stopped playing golf, I stopped watching golf, right? Today, right now, if I turn on, I see golf and I see the leaderboard, I let it click through 3 or 4 times. If I don't see Tiger's name, I cut it off. So my whole point about this is it's not because golf wasn't on TV. It wasn't because the marketing people weren't out there trying to push the sport. Damn right they were trying to push golf. And golf was very popular. It just wasn't popular with me. But once Tiger got there, it became mainstream. Not just black folks, but a lot of people just got caught up in the celebrity of Tiger Woods and they wanted to watch the sport all of a sudden. My wife doesn't want to watch men's basketball, right? She talks about Caitlin Clark all the time. How's she do? What's going on? So for her to sit there and say, you report on what people want to do. We do this show every week, and we sit down and we spend an hour or so before the show, and we talk about stories. And what do we ask? Is this worth talking about? Does anyone even care? I have some different things to talk out that are really dear and dear to my heart when it comes to some college football things, maybe some Northwestern things or things that are going on. And I realized, you know what? The average person may or may not care about this. Well, let's not talk about it, right? Or we make a brief mention of it, or it becomes a ball hawk sports moment because it's not important to everybody. Until Caitlin Clark came around, which is why I cannot understand why people, grown-ups, can't see it. Until she came around and she brought popularity to the sport, nobody cared. And now people care. And people are mad at her because they're saying, you're getting mad at her for like the reverse. Like, are you mad that I didn't care before and I care now? Well, I mean, you're an entertainer. Sports are entertainment. No different.
It was a strong take. I mean, it is Stephen A. Stephen A. is rarely caught in a situation where he's speechless. For a split second, he was speechless. She did say she didn't mean to make it personal, but I don't,
She's just wrong. She's just wrong. To say 3 years ago.
Let's take the personal aspect of it out. Right. And let's say that Stephen A. is also, while he is the top honcho at ESPN, as Miss Molly McNutt pointed out, he still is an employee of ESPN. He still has to work with a team that understands from a programming standpoint, what are the most magnetic topics? What is getting the most buzz? And they respond to that from a production standpoint. These are the topics that we think for our demographic. And they go to, record, they go to the studio, they go to, for them, their ground for competition with these points already laid out. So maybe she was wrong to personalize it, but was she right that, let's not call it Stephen A, let's call it ESPN and the producers, let's call it ESPN responding to the viewership, responding to ticket sales. So we could also include the end user, the consumer, the fan in that by saying, we're the reason why WNBA was not attractive to most people. Hence, it couldn't necessarily be discussed on First Take. And that's the part where I think the ownership of that, and I've talked about that ad nauseum when we talk about the time slots that the WNBA games are utilizing, the ad sales, and what you can point to fandom. I think it's sort of our fault. And that's where I thought Molly McNutt should have been saying, well, Stephen A., I know that, is it the chicken or the egg? Stephen A is going to discuss the things that people have identified in one way or another as important. He's going to discuss the things that people have identified in one way or another as hot topics. Why? Because they've got a department that analyzes social media feeds. They have people looking at the metrics of viewership. Those things are directly correlated to what's discussed.
Mm-hmm.
Having said that, take all that aside. Was she right? Has America missed out on this thing that has been there right in front of our face for several years? While Caitlin Clark is a great story, she's a rookie in a league that, Diana Taurasi, one of the examples. She's 41 years old. She's been in the league 20 years now. So there's a whole swath of America that's missed out on this gift that has been women's basketball. Was Monica McNutt at least right when it comes from that standpoint?
I'm going to go back to the Tiger Woods example. Tiger Woods is in golf, and I no longer watch golf. Like, it wasn't like I missed out on this thing, and now that Tiger's started golfing, I realized I've been missing out. This is this beautiful sport. I can't wait to watch. This is such a great, entertaining sport to watch. No, I still don't give a damn if Tiger's not doing it. I'm not interested. If Tiger's in there, Stephen A. Smith talk about it. If he's not in there, I don't care. Dude's number one golfer got arrested or whatever. I ain't even never heard of him. Number one golfer in the world. Never heard of him. I don't care. Right? You can't make me care. Tiger made me care. And you can't make the media didn't do anything. I shouldn't say that. The media does have some sort of an influence to help you with that and kind of help prop it up and cover them.
Influence, but does it have a responsibility? I hate to interject.
It doesn't, though. I mean,
that's what it sounded like she was saying. Monica McNutt was putting in Stephen A.'s lap what essentially was a responsibility. She said that you could have covered this for the last 3 years in a space that we talk about.
There was no product to sell the last 3 years.
Say that again.
There was no product to sell the last 3 years. Now, and I'm going to definitely go to – and I don't even like Stephen A. Smith. Let's just start out there. I don't even like him. So if I'm defending him, I really feel this way. If I had a chance to push the boulder over on him, I would. But let's go back to like what we talked about many times on this show is the coverage of the NCAA women's tournament, how they didn't call it March Madness. They didn't put a lot of marketing into it. They didn't have the right time slots. They didn't do anything to promote it
until last year.
Last year, right?
Or the last 2 years.
Last couple of years, where they're starting to do a little bit more. Could there be more done by the league and everyone else to make it? Yeah. But it's not Stephen A. Smith's job to make you care about the WNBA. It's the WNBA.
You don't think Stephen A. Smith and the powers that be have a responsibility that even in a male-dominated society in America that celebrates the sports that are normally occupied and played by men, for whatever reason, right? There is something in there that favors men, but there's also a platform that could be used responsibly to introduce things like the WNBA to the Neanderthal average fan that would agree with you. I don't care. Does Stephen A., ESPN, and the entire worldwide, beyond just what they call themselves, in
objection,
terms of sports,
do
we have a responsibility?
Objection, asked and answered.
You didn't answer the responsibility part.
He doesn't.
You said, I don't care. I mean responsibility.
No, but I'm saying he has a responsibility to entertain if there's anything else. For her to say that he just never talked about the WNBA in 3 years, I don't watch him every day, but that's BS. He talks about it when he comes in there.
He said nobody talks about First Take more than I do, but two things can be true at the same time. Nobody talks about WNBA more than you. It's
not his job or responsibility to promote the league.
Not talking about it enough.
It's his job to report on what's relevant. It's his job to report on what people want to talk about, and it's his job to promote the league. No, why should he work harder than the WNBA to promote the league? What responsibility does he have to who? At the end of the day, it's paying the NBA or the business. He's going to talk about what's going to go on. People know, people who are basketball stars have heard of the stars they have in basketball. They show the highlights. If somebody does something good, they cover it. It's not like they don't cover it. It's just not. It's not something that has been pushed by the league. They never care. Now they've got themselves, an opportunity to have some storylines and make it go. And next year they have a few more girls that are going to come into the NBA. A few more women that are going to come into WNBA that are kind of popular. Maybe they can do something with it, but it's their job to do it. And ESPN will be right there to help them out if they want to do it. Do you want to put some of the games on ESPN, or are we going to keep showing it on Telemundo? Am I going to report something on Tubi, or am I going to report something that was on my network? Let's come out here and figure out how to get it on his network, and then he's going to do it.
Follow-up question, and we'll move on. Do you think that Molly McNutt's approach and her stance on the topic, as she so eloquently and unapologetically challenged Stephen A? And we've heard that there's sort of been a theme. Some of the WNBA players taking issue with the use of the word jealous. Some of the journalists, like Monica McNutt, talking about, yo, you could have done this 3 years ago. Some of the former players saying, you guys have no idea what you're doing. Do you think that response has put us in a position to create a threat where some people just walk away from it forever? All right, you think that way? I don't need to pay attention then.
Fans are going to. We're not. The media has a lot to influence, but I'm not watching something because Stephen A. Smith does something or doesn't do anything. Like, I'm going to watch it because I'm interested in doing it. I got my free time. I might watch him because of what he does, but he's not going to make me not want to watch the sport. Actually, this little controversy here, all news is good news as long as they don't do anything completely crazy. But this little controversy they have going on right now is going to make somebody maybe pick it up and watch it. A lot of times, I'll argue again. When I have Xfinity cable, and there's like a C button you hit and it shows the sports, and it doesn't always have the female WNBA sports on there. It doesn't always have the games.
Live sports. So it doesn't even show it.
It doesn't always show it. Yeah, sometimes you got to do it. So there's some catch up to make it a little easier to put the content out there. Mm-hmm. But I want to watch it. I want to see if she can do it. I want to see if she can play better. I'm going to stop and go back because we haven't talked about this, though. When you talk about jealousy and you talk about hate and some stuff that's going on, I don't know Caitlin Clark personality-wise. Like, I don't have an opinion. I think she's very talented. I think that can be a little bit of a baby, but, look at Luka, look at LeBron, right? They're babies and stuff like that. So she's just doing what she sees. But I will tell you that, everyone's trying to make it. You got one side that tries to make it seem like she's the best thing since sliced bread, but you got this other side trying to point out her faults and her turnovers. Diana Taurasi was saying, wait till she comes and plays against women. Well, she's been in the NBA now. It's probably been 10 games since I sent you that meme. And her stats are better than Diana Taurasi's were when she was a rookie. And I guarantee nobody was going after Diana Taurasi the same way they're going after her. They weren't shooting free throws and have a free throw left and run out there to guard her. They weren't banging her when she's standing on the court for no reason. They weren't running through her teeth on screens. I've never seen any of that kind of reaction to somebody, and she's still playing pretty well. She's leading the NBA, or she's leading the rookies. She was rookie of the month. She's on pace to be rookie of the year. You can't.
I don't know about rookie of the year, but she's
on pace.
I don't think so, but we digress.
Okay, she's leading the statistics. So, I mean, what do you base that on? Because
based on the fact that their team's going to be terrible. You're going to have Angel Reece that's filling up all the stat lines, and the girl from Stanford.
Her stats are better than Angel Reece's, but I got you. And they beat.
No, her points are better than Angel Reece's. Her stats
more rebounds.
Say again.
She leads the rookies in rebounds, points, and
she doesn't lead the rookies in rebounds. You're saying Caitlin Clark?
I believe she does.
She does not. Angel Reece does. Angel Reece is the most offensive rebounds in the whole
offensive
WNBA.
Rebounds. But I think overall, points, assists, and blocks is what she reads in blocks.
Yeah.
Why the hell she has the most blocks as a guard? Whatever. But the bottom line is she's doing well, and I love that Angel Reece is doing well. I want to see her do well too. I want to see that battle between the two of them. They went head to head, and one of their 2 dubs is against Chicago. Of course, my Chicago team is finding a way to be on the wrong side of a headline. But I love it. I want to see it keep working. I do hope. I do believe this is an entertainment business. I do think they should let her shoot the ball a little bit. They want to treat her like a rookie and do whatever. All money ain't good money, man. You gotta let her. Let her. I'm not telling you just to fix the games. I'm just saying take it easy.
Take it easy on her.
She does terrible, then people are going to stop watching. That's money in your pocket. If she's a
been a
bust,
whole- there's
they'll
been a
stop
whole
talking about
wave
Caitlin Clark next year if she's a bust.
There's been a whole wave of black men. There's like this phenomenon of black men who've defended Caitlin Clark. And it's been a thing, right? And so it's interesting because it's presented as a racial situation. For those who don't know, when the Chicago Sky and Indiana Fever played each other, Chicago Sky features Angel Reece. Indiana Fever features Caitlin Clark. The moment that everyone talks about is when Chennedy Carter from Chicago Sky has an away from the ball aggressive foul against Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark flops a little bit, but the whole world's up in arms saying, why would this Chennedy Carter treat Caitlin this way? And it's presented as a race thing. However, there's been a lot of black men that have defended, like, oh, this girl can shoot. She's a baller. There's much to do about nothing when you say we only like her because she's white. No, we like her because she can play. Angel Reece, even in their last win, although it was against the Washington Mystics, who was winless, 16 points, 11 rebounds, 5 steals. It's either going to be one of the three, either Angel Reece, Caitlin Clark, or probably Cameron Brink, who's also filling up the stat lines to win Rookie of the Year. But now you've got this moment where who's on first, who's on second, who's on third. All week while we waited on the NBA to play game one, there were conversations about whether or not Chennedy Carter should be kicked out of the league for hitting Caitlin Clark, or whether or not Caitlin Clark was overreacting, whether or not they're refereeing Caitlin Clark different than other people, whether or not Angel Reece is getting the same treatment in a different way, whether or not, and then Angel Reece even opened the door and said that moment where we changed the landscape of women's basketball in that NCAA March Madness game in the championship after Iowa had beat South Carolina and everybody and anybody wanted them to beat LSU, and Angel Reece did the motion and pointed to her finger. That was the spark of what opened up a whole new world to most sports fans, and now we're watching the WNBA. Angel Reece even said it. 20 years from now, we're going to look back on it. It wasn't just one person that was a part of that moment. It was two people, and they watch me and they watch other people. So where do you sit with all of it? Is it just America has become so polarizing that any discussion has to be discussed at the extremes of it? We got an election coming up in November. You better not talk politics when you go to the dinner table. If you're dating somebody and politics comes up when you visit that family, you better change the topic quick, because there is no rational, respectful dialogue when it comes to these conversations. The same thing seemed true last week when it came to Chennedy Carter, Caitlin Clark, and Angel Reece.
I guess the way I look at it is I start looking, you got to remember sports are entertainment, right? They shouldn't be politics. Not to say that people can't speak their mind about politics when they're off the court or whatever, but it's entertainment, right? People get paid so much money to go to a game. People get paid so much money to play a game because we want to all, as humans, we want our emotions to be moved. Some people like scary movies. Some people like movies that make you cry. Some people like feel-good stories, whatever. We like to have our emotions moved, whether we know it or not, right? We want to be moved emotionally, and sports do that for people in very, very, very different ways. I think I like to keep it at the recreational level. Obviously, I have children that I'm trying to use sports to help further themselves in life, but I do like that. I always try to give them a chance. Hey, have fun. Like, do what we got to go do. So that being said, I think it's human nature. If you're watching a heavyweight fight and you don't know who's fighting or any fight, and you're black, you're going to root for the black guy. If you're white, you're going to root for the white guy. If you're Mexican, you're going to root for the Mexican. If you're Puerto Rican, you're going to root the Puerto Rican. And damn it, Don't let him be Haitian because I think everybody should root for the Haitian, right? But it's all in fun, right? I think there's a level of it that goes there for you, Venezuela, right? Like Venezuelan. I think you're from Venezuela. So
I shall not confirm or deny.
I just think that that's okay. You know, I think it's funny how we are in this country in some ways where it's so taboo. You know, I grew up with a lot of Jamaicans, okay? A lot of my friends were Jamaican or Haitian. Jamaica played Haiti in a soccer game. Man, we're so excited. We flooded to my cousin's house. The Haitians wearing their Haitian jerseys. I brought my kids. Jamaicans wearing the Jamaican thing. We're talking so much shit, whatever. But you know what, though? When it's not against Haiti, I love the Jamaicans. I love seeing you say, I feel some ownership when you say Bo breaks those things because we're island and we do what, you know what I'm saying? Now, I want the U.S. to win because I'm American, but I like to see the Jamaicans. I look at those people as my cousins. They might not be my brothers, but they're my cousins. So what I'm saying is it's lighthearted. None of my Jamaican friends look at me and think, oh, my God, I can't believe you're rooting for Haiti. We're doing whatever. So I think we make too much is made of the black-white thing being a negative or going that next step as being racist and doing whatever. Yes, white people like Caitlin Clark because she's white and they look like their daughter. There's nothing wrong with that. People from Iowa
prevent you from seeing. I agree with you there. Where I would challenge you is that might be what attracted me to liking Caitlin Clark.
I don't think that's where I disagree.
No.
You're attracted because she's from the logo.
Stick with me.
Okay.
Stick with me.
Okay.
In my hypothetical, I'm a white dad with a white daughter, and I'm attracted to Caitlin Clark because I associate with her. I see my daughter in her. That's fine. So I'm agreeing with you with your previous statement.
Just don't say that first. Say why do you like? There's a lot of white girls that play basketball. Why do you like this particular?
All I'm doing, you're arguing an argument that all I'm saying is I'm agreeing with your previous statement that it's okay for people or white people to like her because she's white. I'm just agreeing with your other statement.
Yeah.
What I would challenge you by saying is that might be the reason you started to like her. But when these debates are happening, the inability to see that Caitlin Clark is being challenged because she's a rookie and other rookies have been challenged, the inability to see that Angel Reece, too, is being pushed around a little bit. The inability to see, Angel Reese's the foul against Angel, the girl basically pulled her hair down. It was a way more violent foul against Angel Reece.
Also, it's kind of hard to bully Angel Reece compared to bullying a guard. So that's the fairness there.
I'm comparing fouls.
Yeah.
One was
I'm kind of trying to
far more defenseless.
Yeah.
And in a much more compromising position.
Right.
And could have led to injury.
Mm-hmm.
You compare that to Chennedy Carter basically hip checking Caitlin Clark on an inbounds pass. They're not the same. But yet, people have issue with one versus the other. That's where the challenge is when we start having the conversation, your inability to see beyond the white and the black. And that's my challenge, is that the conversations have seemed to be limited to that, and they have not been more nuanced. Because Caitlin Clark, while an amazing player who happens to be white, is a part of the story, but the story has more layers. That's where I think the challenge has been. It seems as extreme and far-fetched, right? And I agree with you. Like, we all have affiliations because this episode is my dog's birthday. If you own a boxer owners hang out with boxer owners. Pit bull owners hang out with pit bull owners. Go down the list of the breed that you own, and I'm okay with the association.
Mm-hmm.
But the association has seemed to be an identification that no one can get beyond any layer of debate in the conversation because of how they came into it.
So I would say, look, if you look at across all sports, we try to protect the brands, right? We try to protect the face. Tom Brady played till he was 57 years old, only because
137 years old when he fought.
137 years old when he on his driver's license. But when because they protected him and they try to change the game and they're trying to protect the quarterbacks, they realize that people really want to see him throw more than they want to see the one hit that took him out. You know what I mean? Right. That'll be a highlight, right? No one wanted to see Joe Theismann's leg get broke. It was too disgusting, but that's a highlight we'll see forever. but they would have rather seen him throw 100 more touchdowns, right? That the dollar goes further and it's more interesting. But if you look at it, if you want to try to do it, in this day and age with video and all the amount of content we have, you can try to make a picture for a lot of things. But Caitlin is a guard. She's a shooter. She's not a dunker. Not that there's dunker females, but she does go to the cup. But she's a skilled player. She's just those fouls look worse than when you see Angel Reece, who's playing down under the basket. I'd equate that in football to a wide receiver versus a lineman, right?
Fair.
You're going to call PI on the littlest thing. I wish that's all the old lineman did to me when I was trying to rush the passer is pull them the way they pull these DBs.
Right.
I wish
pass interference, right?
Yeah, pass interference. I'm like, you mad because of that? Wait, did you see what dude just did to me? But I'm a lineman. I'm a grunt. I'm supposed to have bloody knuckles. It's supposed to be like that. Angel Reece is down low.
Court versus backcourt, fair. Very fair.
It's supposed to be a little bit rougher in the trenches than a shooter. Steph Curry's not tough. You know what I mean? Like you see Steph Curry, he comes around and, people ball him up. He's, oh my God, that's Steph. He's going to fly through the air. So I don't know. I think it's a little bit, the controversy is good as long as it doesn't get much further than I'm seeing it now. And I say much further where it just gets to be too social. They're playing a sport. They're going to do something. I haven't watched enough to see if they rough the rookies up. I mean, you got to remember the WNBA has so few teams. The talent level of people in the WNBA is ridiculous because there's so few teams.
Oh yeah, I mean, you could get drafted. Chennedy Carter, right, was I think top 4 pick, and this is her 3rd team. You could get drafted one of the earliest picks
and be done
and not be good.
But
you said it as long as it doesn't go too far.
Yeah.
And I'll just pause for the moment and just say, so there was a zealot, some crazy fan that approached Chennedy Carter and the Chicago Sky at the hotel because, they're going to wave the banner and fight the fight for good old Caitlin Clark. And that's where it goes too far. So I hope we can resume the sport part of it. But I love the fact that we're talking about WNBA.
Yeah.
Monica McNutt is right that he could have used his platform 3 years ago, but
nobody would listen.
The same thing is true about what could have happened. He could have used his platform on that day to talk about something else. So let's celebrate the victory. Great basketball on the court. I do think that them being compared, Angel Reece and Caitlin Clark being compared to Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, salute. We're in a new era when it comes to women's basketball. So keep on playing. Let's see what we can get out of it. You talk about white guys or black guys naturally choosing the white guy or black guy, Mexican or Puerto Rican fighter, and it made me think of Deontay Wilder. On the heels of what was Mental Health Awareness Month last month in May, Deontay Wilder goes and fights a name that no one knew before the fight. Last name Zhang, Asian guy, and loses, gets TKO, pummeled. His mom afterwards basically begs him to retire. His dad blames the trainer and says you just need a new trainer.
That's my dog.
Deontay Wilder, whether you think it was on good terms or not, is always going to be associated with bringing back the heavyweight division in America during a time that there was a lull of the heavyweight division. Period. New sentence. I hate seeing this brother go out like that. He's 1-4 in the last fights, and none of them have looked good. I was on his side during the Tyson Fury fight. I thought maybe because of the getting hit behind the ear, the equilibrium being off, it was just an extreme moment, an outlier moment in this great fighter's career. He will bounce back. I can officially say he is who we thought he was. Just a flash in the pan. Trendy boxer in the heavyweight division that was a one-hitter quitter, but wasn't a boxer. What do we do from an intervention standpoint to put our arms around this brother who spoke up on social issues to this day, who seems to be a great guy, a fan favorite, but needs to hang it up? Do you think he listens to mom? Because every dog got his day, and this ain't Deontay Wilder's day anymore.
I don't know. It depends on his pockets and his money. Somebody paying to fight, he gonna go out there and fight. Mike Tyson about to fight again. He ain't got no business fighting. He's 57 years old.
It gets challenging though, and whether or not it's the NFL, NBA, we talk about so many people that played beyond their prime. It's a little safer to play beyond your prime when you're playing basketball. Tom Brady took some risks by going out there and playing football, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers went and spent a whole bunch of money on offensive linemen to protect their investment. There is nobody, and according to Deontay Wilder's dad, including his trainer, that can protect Deontay Wilder from the risks inherent in going in that ring and taking what I think way too many punches to the face. But it's a tough thing to give up what you have been identified by. And this is why I brought up the idea of mental health awareness in the month of March, is that I do think it's a component of mental health that professional athletes need to redefine themselves beyond their career. And I think that's what we're watching with Deontay Wilder. I hope he ends his career safely, such that he can live a healthy life and enjoy his kids and enjoy his quality of life. But if I'm basing it on the examples of the past, it looks like he's headed towards one of the same outcomes that so many boxers, especially in the heavyweight division in America, seems to face. I'll give you
I watched it happen to Roy Jones. Roy Jones, I still think is probably top 5, top 10 fighter of all times. Definitely in my lifetime. So I don't like to get too far. People that I never got to watch fight, but he's one of the best fighters of all times. But after, I think it was Antonio Tarver knocked him out. He had that loose chin, and I think once the button gets loosened up, it's kind of, like they say, hardest time to quit is the first time, and then after it gets easier and easier. I was like, once you get knocked out, that's the hardest time the first time, and then it gets easier and easier. But that being said, I don't know what his training camp is like. I don't know if he's not been motivated. His daddy says it's his friend that's training him. Maybe his friend can't train him the way he needs to be trained. It's, when your dog is putting you on and he's letting you train him and he's giving you some money that you may not be able to do, you may not really want to have the tough conversations with him the same way a guy that's an established trainer that just doesn't give a shit is going to tell you how to do it. So maybe his camp has sucked. He's 1-3 under this trainer. Maybe he's not doing something right. Maybe there's some things he could do. The boy need to gain a little weight though. He's 6'7", 217. But the boy can. Is there a max on heavyweight? You can weigh as much as you want, right?
I mean, you gotta be able to fight. So
man, I'm sure he can fight.
Yeah, his legs look frail against Tyson Fury. It looks like it's gotten worse over time. My hat's off to Deontay Wilder for making the heavyweight division relevant in America again. My hat's off to Deontay Wilder for being willing and able, for the most part, to speak up when it came to social issues. But whoever is that man's friend, it's my dog's birthday. I'm talking about a real friendship. Have one of them conversations with him, sit him down. If he ain't gonna listen to mama, maybe he'll listen to you. But I do think it's time for him to put up his gloves. It's looked that bad. So you did talk about the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul situation. Instead of it being canceled, which I think all of us who have Iron Mike in our top 5 boxers of all time, for those who lived through the 80s and remembered that the word Mike Tyson used to create and conjure up fear like Candyman. We remember the stories and how Iron Mike, you had to see the entire fight. It was like the old Martin episodes before we had DVR. You had to be there on time because you don't know how long the fight's going to last. For those people who have those memories of Mike Tyson, I think when he had the health scare, we were hoping that was going to be his gentle way of getting out of this. It has been rescheduled. Rescheduled for November 15th, I think it is, of this year. AT&T Stadium, Jerry's World. It's still the first live Netflix sporting event. It still has Mike Tyson facing Jake Paul. Are we happy that it was rescheduled? Does this dog have one last day in Mike Tyson?
I mean, he might mess around and catch another birthday. He's getting older by the second, man. The sand is coming out the hourglass, and it doesn't care. I mean, what's his ailment now? He's got like a hemorrhoid surgery or something. He got some old people, a hammer toe. He needs to attend to some old people stuff.
Injury was.
They haven't disclosed.
I think they discovered it like a health issue, like a health concern. So
yeah, old age. He got high blood pressure. I'm saying cataracts. He probably has a cataract. He has to get something that old people don't get. That's why they don't want to talk about it, because they realize, what are we doing here?
What are we doing?
The man has rickets and cataracts, and he's gonna go fight. So I hope they never fight. I love Mike Tyson. I hope they never fight, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. And to be able to pick that venue during the NFL season, the Cowboys playing in November. Even they still be playing in November. It says that America wants to see it, despite the fact that it is a car crash waiting to happen. We all cannot look away. So interesting stuff. I hope that Mike Tyson remains healthy. How about that? I did want to get to a few more things before we get out of here. First thing, lightning round. And this is a pop quiz. You didn't know I was coming with this one.
No, I didn't. Otherwise,
you didn't know I was coming with this one, but I want to bring it up anyway.
I'd have brought a cheat sheet had I known you was going to have a test.
Prior to game one, LeBron James made a statement about Kyrie Irving. Basically said, hey, man, he's a wizard with the ball. I wish I was playing next to Kyrie. Gave him some favorable words, and media types like Kendrick Perkins took issue with it. So like, here it is. Kyrie is in the finals. You had just as much of a role in not being with Kyrie as Kyrie did, and yet you've inserted yourself into the conversation during the finals while your team should be in Cancun. Do you have issue with LeBron James talking about Kyrie on a podcast?
Come on. He was on the podcast, so should he not do podcasts?
He did go a little extra going into, you know how long we have been wanting to hear what was behind the veil when it came to Kyrie and LeBron?
Okay, so maybe come on. Are we doing this? Let's do it. We're doing it. How about maybe they squashed it? How about he's trying to show that he's moved on? He's a bigger person and he wants to give him his flowers. How about he said, man, I'm proud of this brother, man. How about that? They beefed for a while. They broke up.
It's my dog's birthday. He got a birthday. He has a birth in the finals. So you win it.
I wish I was still playing with him. Why don't we celebrate that? Why aren't we celebrating the fact that all this public beef, all this Kendrick Lamar and Drake shit? Why can't everybody win? Why he's man? Look, I wish I was still playing with that dude. Part of me is so proud of him. Part of me is pissed off I'm not playing with him. What a great statement he said about the man. Unless you say Kendrick Perkins said he shouldn't be on a podcast because he didn't bring it up. Somebody brought it up to him. They asked him on the show, I'm sure, what do you think about how Kyrie's playing? He's on the podcast, so he should just go fishing and just I'm not doing anything until it's over because I'm out of there. Come on, man. He's still, this is still his league. He's still the face of the league.
Fair.
He's not supposed to speak. He's not supposed to give love to a brother that's made it to championship. I tell you, I never was like a Kyrie fan as a person, just like I wasn't a Kobe fan as a person. I respected his game. But, man, I tell you what, until last night was kind of a bad game. But watching him in these series, I'm like, man, I have a newfound respect for watching just Kyrie, how he can do it. Because through all the stuff he's been through all the turmoil, he finally settled in. They went to Dallas. It's his second year at Dallas, right? Or is it his third?
This is his second year in Dallas.
First year was kind of a failure. You're like, we thought this was going to be better than that. Now here they are in the championship. Now he's doing it. And I put a couple of dollars on that 2,500 to 1 that he's going to be the MVP of this thing because I think he's going to step up and he's going to win and he's going to show you that his prior experience was part of it. So Perkins is saying what that LeBron should say no comment.
Yeah, I think he was saying that LeBron always finds the angle to make it about him. Whereas
do you feel like those comments were about LeBron or is it about Kyrie?
I mean, they were about the relationship between LeBron and Kyrie. That's
all
what
he said is, I wish I was still playing with him. That's just a great compliment. Well, shut up, Perkins, shut up. Be happy that you have a platform. Shut up.
Justin Jefferson just hit the bank, open up a bag.
They're looking for you. You got them. Got them for some bread. They're looking for you.
Bread, big money.
Mm-hmm.
$19 million a year. Compare that to somebody like, let's go with Lonzo Ball, who hasn't played in 2 years, is still making $20 million a year. That's comparing NBA money versus NFL money. When you think of that, and you hear that Lonzo Ball, Chicago Bulls,
he coming back this year.
He coming back to keep stealing y'all $20 million. That's what he's coming back to do. Of course he's coming back. If you could take $20 million from somebody every year annually, yeah, you're going to come back. You want to make sure that the check is written out the right way. You want to make sure that they got the right routing number.
Ben Simmons going to make that run next year. Ben Simmons coming to Chicago.
So does a stray cat. You can't say stray no more. It's called feral. So does a feral cat. A feral cat going to come back. You're going to keep feeding them. So, of course, my man Lonzo Ball is going to keep coming back. But to think Justin Jefferson, who is the most amazing, artistic, poetic wide receiver in the game right now, and the stats support that statement.
And so does the
think
paycheck.
That he's going to go out there and risk it all on the line going across that middle to make his $19 million. And Lonzo Ball somewhere chilling, making $20 million. I think that's the juxtaposition when you think of basketball versus football.
Ben Simmons money.
Getting paid to do what you do. And that ain't
Paul Wall money.
I wanted to go home on this one.
Aren't you already home?
Say that again. I am already home. Home in terms of topics.
Okay.
On this one, before we go to our ball hawk spotlight moment, LeBron came up, former teammate Delonte West, who during his career was diagnosed with some form of bipolar syndrome. After his career was recorded several times looking, you can't say homeless anymore. It's not homeless. It's something else now. You can't say homeless. Unhoused. Was the center of attention when it came to Mark Cuban deciding to go out of his way and trying to put him in a facility. And we all celebrated that Mark Cuban, this wealthy NBA owner at the time, still an owner, found it within his heart to go and try to rescue Delonte West. I say that in this episode because there's two parts of that. The mental health awareness part and him getting diagnosed with being bipolar, but then also the part that becomes the evolution of what you are as it pertains to a professional athlete. The inability to accept the new definition and transition to the next phase of your life, combined with being bipolar, has triggered Delonte West to spiral into a drug-filled life, being unhoused, and now being arrested again. But during that arrest having several medical issues, one being them attending to him as though he was about to die from an overdose with Narcan, I think it is.
That's what they arrested him for that now?
No. But they had to use Narcan. Like, they had to bring him back.
He wasn't okay. Yeah.
He was not okay. In this episode, man, of my dog's birthday, we talked about the treatment of dogs and pets in America. But when I think of this young brother and the promise that he had, I think he had a sort of an 8-year career. He was a scorer. He was a vital part of one of Cleveland's runs. To think about how dominant he was on the collegiate level and to see where he is now, it's just really tough to see. And so I don't know what the Players Association and what other services are made available for these guys, but it seems like we're coming up short. Delonte West is the more visible story because, again, all the things we just talked about, his connection with LeBron and Mark Cuban and
LeBron's mama.
I didn't want to say that, but you said it. The alleged relationship with LeBron's mother. But he's in good company when it comes to former professional athletes spiraling out of control especially when you add drugs, but also especially when you consider what they were diagnosed with while playing. For no other reason but trying to have the conversation, when you hear the story, Delonte West arrested, needing Narcan to resuscitate him, knowing that he was arrested in Virginia, but knowing that Mark Cuban's attempt at an intervention didn't work, America's support and wanting a comeback story didn't work. When you hear Delonte West being arrested again in Virginia, man, and knowing the circumstances, you think what?
I feel bad for him, man. I think, mental health is something that we're learning more and more about each year, I should say, each day, each year. It's unfortunate that, he's a NBA player, so we know about it, but there's, hundreds of thousands of people like him around the country that didn't have the talent that he had, that are going through the same thing, and we don't really think about them. So it's when you watch the fall from grace to see like this guy was living, driving sports cars and, eating at the finest restaurants, and now he's doing it. But, there's a lot of people on the streets right now who are suffering from mental health that used to be something great. Used to be attorneys, used to be doctors, used to be whatever. It just some people can't handle it. You got to catch it at an early time. The person who's catching it, they oftentimes deny the medication because it makes them feel, even though it makes them appear normal to you and I, it makes them feel bad, it makes them feel weird, or they felt normal for long enough time that they just go cold turkey and they stop taking their meds. And it's just unfortunate. The brain is just a really tricky beast. A pulled muscle or a broken bone, you can fix it and look on a machine and say it's fixed. There's nothing to look at your brain and say, all right, it's fixed. These meds they have you fixed. It's just on how you act and how you behave. So hats off to Mark Cuban for trying to save him. I hope someone else tries again. I hope that, they don't just say, hey, I don't look at him the way I look at some dude who's a regular drug addict or a regular alcoholic that's just throwing his life away and making that decision. The guy's got mental health issues, and it's very, very common to try to medicate with drugs or alcohol as opposed to getting something like that. And then no one wants to deal with you anymore, and you're just kind of a throwaway. So I hope somebody helps him get the help that he needs, but I feel sympathy.
While we can argue whether or not the use of the word homeless is offensive or we should be calling it unhoused, one thing we cannot argue with is the number of people that are facing these dire situations. I hate it for Delonte West, but in this episode, the reason I brought it up is we talked about how, we celebrate dogs more than we do humans sometimes. I saw a dog in the neighborhood with 3 legs, and this person walking this dog, and he was rocking and rolling. But in the saddest day in most pet owners' lives is when they have to euthanize their dog. But they euthanize the dog because they have seen him suffer. They don't want him to suffer anymore. And to think that in the same country that so many pet owners treat their dogs that well is really tough to see. And we all have an example of someone. I've got someone that comes to mind, a former teammate that also is dealing with a bipolar issue, that's also former professional athlete dealing with his own drug issues now. We all have someone that we think of when we think of, whether it be unhoused, homeless, whatever you want to call it, that is dealing with both mental health issues and then exacerbating the mental health issues, the use of drugs, street drugs, not trying to be medicated for the mental health issue. We all know somebody. And so Delonte West is a reminder that let's just make sure that we don't just throw those people away, that we treat them with the care in which they so richly deserve. Anyway, did want to at least discuss that, man. It was sad to hear about Delonte West. Wishing that brother well. Let's go home with Ball Hog Sports Talk moment. You want to start? You want to go second? Your Ball Hog Sports Talk spotlight moment. You want the ball first, or do I get the rock first?
I'll go first.
Ball goes to you, middle of the court. You know the rules, baby. It's the middle of the court. We need a shot. Everybody knows you taking the shot. It's a Ball Hog spotlight moment. Anything from sports, business, entertainment. What you got?
I'm from the north side, baby. A lot of friends from the South Side. When I tell you the hate the South Side has for the North,
North
you would
side,
think
south side, or what?
Chicago. When it comes to baseball, I would say it's very much like the Union and the folks down south when it was a
Oh,
Civil
it's a
War.
Civil War type deal. North South Civil
But
War type.
I personally think from being in Chicago, the White Sox hate the Cubs more than the Cubs hate the White Sox. I think the Sox hate to the DNA level, and I think that the Cubs level of the hate of the White Sox is skin deep. But they've
I
beat
think
up.
that means you're a Cubs fan.
I think I don't care that much about baseball, so it's laughable to me on both sides. But if I had to pick a team, I would pick the Cubs just because it's more fun and it's whatever. But there's a lot of hate. So the White Sox are 15-48, so they're not doing very well this year. They are on pace for an early pick. Worst team in baseball, I believe. They play against the Cubs, and they're up 5-1. I was at a bar with a couple of my friends, after a local event, watching this game, and then all of a sudden, it's 5-2, it's 5-3, it's 5-4, 6-5. Everybody go home, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the next day, I'm with the same people at a very similar bar because we were at some high school combine event, so we just spilled over to a bar. And I look, and I was like, man, they're still talking about that game. Nope, happened again. This time, they were down 5-0. Boom, 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 came back and won 7-6. So I got to shout out to the Cubs to snatch defeat out of the jaws of victory 2 nights in a row and embarrass yourself. You were getting ready to clown. You were getting ready to have a redemption moment because you could say we sucked this year, but at least we beat the Cubs. But nothing can make you more upset than having a crazy season and having your enemies destroyed in the 7th inning 2 times in a row and just let them just snatch that victory right out your mouth. So, hey, donkey of the week goes to the White Sox.
I like this kind of Chicago beef. It's safe. You know what I mean? I like that. Let's go Cubs, White Sox. I didn't realize it was divided that way, but good for not so good for the White Sox. Good for the Cubs, man, holding it down. North side. My not donkey of the day, my ball hawk spotlight moment. I get the ball, middle of the court. All eyes on me. I see my man Kareem White chimed in. Happy birthday. Yo, shout out. Enjoy your day, my brother. Enjoy your birthday, homie. Thank you for your friendship. But when the ball is in my court, all the lights are on. We need a shot. The topic I'm going with for sports business entertainment is the Oklahoma Sooners softball team. If you've noticed the last several days, every time we turn on ESPN while we were desperate to watch some NBA finals, all you saw was softball. College softball at that. The Oklahoma Sooners win the NCAA title for the 4th time, record 4th time in a row. Shout out to the Oklahoma Sooners. It's so fun watching softball because I didn't realize that underhand fast pitch, they got every pitch that you could think of. There are curveballs and changeups, even with an underhand pitch, and that thing is coming with some heat. But I found myself watching a little bit of college softball. Shout out to the Oklahoma Sooners. They played Texas, of course, Red River rivalry, to win it all, and did so by securing the 4th in a row championship. So shout out to Oklahoma Sooners. This week has been an interesting week. I started off by talking about it being my dog's birthday, literally my best friend's birthday. Happy birthday to him. But we also talked about the treatment of dogs in America. The saddest day in almost every pet owner's life is when they got to euthanize their dog. And that decision is normally only made because they don't want their dog to suffer. It's nothing but love. Compare and contrast that with how some of the sports figures talked about boxers staying too long, talked about Delonte West and his troubles and now being unhoused. Let's treat humans better. We know about the international conflicts, who we support and how we support them. But let's try to make a way of treating humans better. We have now transitioned from the Mental Health Awareness Month in May to Pride Month, which is June. And I say that knowing that in Pride Month, a lot of us deal with a lot of challenges with our own ideologies. Let's stick to the golden rule and let's treat everybody better. With that, any parting words? Big Flow Show, before I get you out of here, my man, anything?
No, wish me luck. I'm headed to Milwaukee tomorrow so my baby girl can play some volleyball. My favorite things on earth to do is watch my 2 children play sports. So tomorrow I'm going to get to do one of my favorite things. So I'm looking forward to that.
Enjoy it, baby girl. Do your thing, because you call her baby girl instead of the name. I like that. You just like that's everybody's universally need to
Baby
refer.
girl.
Yeah.
What you call her baby girl too? That's my baby girl. She
baby
may not
niece
turn her head if you say baby girl. She probably won't turn her head if she doesn't hear my voice.
Niece. That's what I'm like. What up, niece?
Mm-hmm.
We celebrate nephew, but niece is doing her thing tomorrow. So good luck to her and her volleyball team. For me, I got AAU basketball. As sports dads, we should cherish this time of our lives. So cherish it. Enjoy the volleyball. I will enjoy the basketball, AAU basketball. We also have a open house for my football team getting ready for the 13U season. So action-packed for sports. This is the Ball Hog Sports Talk, where sports, business, and entertainment collide. A few businessmen get together and discuss sports in an entertaining fashion. We were former athletes. We are current sports dads. We are always, perpetually, to the end of time, sports fans. And we are the Ball Hog Sports Talk. We thank you for your time, your attention. We ask you kindly. It won't cost you anything. If you did it right now, it won't cost you anything. You can like this video. You can comment on it. You can share it. You can tag a friend. Hell, you could even tag a foe. Tag anyone that you know. And then when you're done doing that, please subscribe to the YouTube channel and the podcast. This is a labor of love. Please share that love with other people. You'd be helping us. Won't cost you anything. So with that, enjoy your week. It's the Ball Hog Sports Talk, Sports Business Entertainment Collide. We is out. Peace.